countries, especially in Asian, African, and indigenous communities, the elderly are highly respected and revered for their wisdom and life experience. They often hold important roles in decision making and are seen as custodian of tradition and culture. Elderly people are often individuals aged 65 and above. They play diverse roles in society, ranging from active community members to requiring varying levels of care and support. But in some modern and industrialized societies, elderly individuals may face ageism, which includes stereotypes, discrimination based on their age. They might be marginalized, seen as less capable, and excluded from various aspects of social, economic, and cultural life. Today on Health 247, on the topic the elderly living a quality life, we are going to look into key factors such as healthcare, social connections, safety and accessibility, financial security, technological integration, community and support services for the elderly. With me in the studio is Senator Eze Ajoku, who is the president of the Coalition for the Rights of Old Persons in Nigeria, a former Nigerian senator who represented Imo State Senatorial District in 2005. He also heads Dallas Care Orphanage Home and Coalition of Caregivers, Orphans and Vulnerable Children in Nigeria. To be part of this show, you can keep watching us on Rapid TV channel 176 and as usual follow us on all our social media handles in Official Rapid TV. Stay tuned for we'll be right back. Alright viewers, welcome back on the topic elderly living a quality life. Senator Ajoku, you're welcome on the program Health 247.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
The pleasure is mine. Okay, so our viewers, I've as well introduced you to our viewers, but we're going to just delve into the topic of the day. So, the elderly, from the word elderly, what opinion do you have about it?
There's a difference between certain countries and Nigeria. Even the World Health Organization, they are adopting the same thing with Nigeria, because in Nigeria, everyone who has come to the age of retirement, that is 60 years, has qualified to become an older person. You can further categorize the older persons to different age bands. But the important thing is that older persons, people who have been retired, sent home by government, if they work for government, have all qualified to be older persons. And some will retire to their villages, some will remain in the cities, and some will try and find other things to do so that they can continue to be healthy. So for Nigeria, older persons are everyone who has passed the age of 60.
That's the retirement age?
The retirement age, the age at which government sent you home. And if I want to be funny, they send you home without health insurance. They send you home without your pension. And for the next 22 months, you're on your own if you survive it until your pension and gratuity begin to come out. So for Nigerians, it's an age those who are working dread so much. And that's why sometimes there is corruption in Nigeria, because they know nobody is going to look after them.
That's true.
So when they are retiring, they collude with some other colleagues to be able to look for retirement benefits for themselves. But if there were retirement benefits, they will not have any problems looking forward to retirement in Nigeria.
So when you talk about retirement benefits, what do you mean by that?
You know, every worker saves money for the rainy day. With those who work for government, they save it in the way of pension deductions.
Sure.
Government deducts part of their salary and contributes another part, so that when they retire, they can either withdraw it at the same time or face it for the rest of their life and have monthly income. Okay, that's what is done everywhere in the world almost. The only problem is that in Nigeria, most state governments don't pay those pensions to the people when they retire.
Wow.
In some states, they're owing people over 3 years of pension.
That's terrible.
Which is very bad, because it's supposed to be money you put down for your old age.
For your old age, and that's their money.
And the frustrating thing is that a lot of the governors who do these things are young men who probably should be respecting older persons and seeing to it, because they also will get old.
Certainly.
And seeing to it that they are well cared for.
That's true.
So that's the sad thing about retirement. You know, government will put you on health insurance while you work for them so that you'll be healthy. But the very day you retire, the health insurance for you is cut off. You go home without any health cover. And you know, at that age, you would have started developing aging sicknesses like diabetes, hypertension, arthritis, eye problems, you know, a host of many things. At the time you need medical assistance most, that is when in this country it is withdrawn from you. Now, if you are unlucky to retire to rural areas where there are no health facilities, it becomes worse. The government at a time built health centers in so many areas, but 70% of them are not functional from the survey the Ministry of Health did 2 years ago. They are dilapidated, no drugs, no people. And so health has become the challenge of the older person. Two biggest problems the older persons have is health support and financial assistance. You know.
Okay, let's move forward. Like, when we're talking about elderly people, how do you think the society look at them? Because certainly so many people who don't want to even get old, when you tell them they're elderly, they're reaching their retirement age, they'll get angry because they're looking at it that, okay, if I retire, what awaits me? How would the society look at me? So what is your own interpretation? How do you see the society look at the elderly?
Nigeria is not yet an older person friendly country, in the sense that we don't go out of our way to help older persons, which is very unfortunate. Old age is a blessing, and it's not everyone that gets old. And therefore, it should have been an opportunity for people to encourage you as you age. There are some young people who don't even want to see old people anywhere around. They just tell you your time is past, all right, which is unfortunate. And these are your parents, you know, who educated you, who supported you. And now in their old age, you don't want to know anything. Or you say, look, my friend, you are old. At least you've had your time and all those. Those are very, very bad attitudes.
Bad words.
You know, my mother is 105.
Oh, wow. And she's still alive?
She's alive.
That's good.
We speak every day.
Ooh.
You know, I'm able to talk with her every day. Even though I am going to be 77 years old, an old person myself. You know, so you find that some children have grown up without the value of attached to their parents or older persons. For example, when we were younger, our parents looked after us. They didn't lap us to go to school. They didn't have cars. They didn't wash our dresses. They taught us how to do those things.
Sure.
But this generation, some parents even try to go and take jam for their children.
That's to show how bad it is.
You know, we do everything for them when they were young, and in their old age, we are still doing everything. Why would they now care for us? Because we've not taught them the culture, how to care for somebody else. We've not taught them that, look, there'll be a time I will also be looking up to you.
Sure.
Parents bring up their children educate them, hoping, you know, that they become their insurance in the
More
future.
like an investment.
An investment,
yeah,
and that they will get their returns when their children grow up. But some children will never call their parents for 1 year.
That's terrible.
Do a census or a research in Abuja amongst those who are 40 to 20. How many of them call their parents in a week or in a month? How many send money, even if you earn 50,000 a month? 2,000 from you to your parents will mean a lot to them.
That's true.
You know, so that's the problem. We look at, generally look at old people as their time is past, and that's where the stereotyping and the name calling and the ageism, that's where they manifest. Elder abuse in different forms, you know. So I just pray that somewhere, somehow, Nigerians will become more age-friendly, older persons friendly, and begin to come up with programs, policies to support the old.
Support the age.
The old people are suffering today. You may blame them that when they were younger, they didn't put policies in place.
They didn't imbibe it on the kids.
They did not, not only that, when they worked for government, they did not think of when they will retire, to put in place policies that will benefit them when they retire.
That's true.
And that is what the mistake those who are working for government are doing now. They are not making efforts to put in place policies, laws that will protect them when they are old. I'll tell you something. The Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons, when we came together, most of our members are retired people. We looked back and saw, oh, one of the things we saw was that there was no legal protection for the older person. You can't say these are my rights as an older person in Nigeria. You can only derive it from culture and tradition of respect and all that. But legally, there are no laid down laws that state that this is my right, that I'm entitled to, you know, this thing, medical or that. And when we sat down together, we decided to author what we called a bill that will spell out the rights and privileges of older persons. We put it together, we were able to push it through the National Assembly. It was passed by both the Senate and the House and transmitted to the President, the former President. The bill was called Older Persons' Rights and Privilege Bill.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, I guess civil servants, younger people who will get old tomorrow, working either in the office of the President or in the ministries where they sought opinions about the bill, you know, discourage the President from signing the bill.
But why?
That's what you ask me. It's because they are not looking to the future.
To the future,
They are not futuristic. And that's the mistake every civil servant is making now, not thinking of
the future. So moving further, can you explain the importance of the social inclusion for older persons and how can you relate it to their rights?
Yes, as you know, right now, we are happy about an element that has taken place. When we started the coalition, we worked with other CSOs and with the then Ministry of Women Affairs to come out with a policy, national policy on aging. In 2017 also, the President, there were a lot of bills which were consolidated,
Okay.
you know, in the National Assembly into becoming the National Senior Citizen Center. I knew about it because I was a senator. And we talked about it, and we had to go to National Assembly to extract that bill.
Okay.
And we took it to the then Minister of Humanitarian, who was, in charge of older persons.
Okay.
And we pushed for it so that the National Senior Citizen Center can be established. And we're very happy when together we worked with her, the board of the National Senior Citizen Center was inaugurated. Kosropin was a member of the board.
Okay.
And why I'm referring to it now is that that is the only agency of government that is thinking of older persons. Hitherto, older persons are not included in any developmental plans and initiatives of government. Okay? Even their population is not disaggregated. So you find that government does not think about older persons.
And this kind of thing will make them to even die on time.
Well, that's why a lot of people, after they've retired 2 or 3 years, you hear they are dead. The people who were very strong when they were retiring.
Not quite long ago.
Yes, because there's no program. Even the Senior Citizen Center programs are all on paper. There's none that is on the ground.
So you're saying that it is not yet been implemented?
You see, the way government works. Sometimes government is more on media, telling you what they are doing. When you get to the ground, there's nothing on the ground.
That's true.
The truth is that there's no impact or no effort to include older persons. That's why we're happy at this voice program. In their inclusion, they included marginalized
people.
Yes, people.
That's vulnerable as well.
Vulnerable, and that's how Kosropin qualified, to be funded for their programs. So what we're looking forward to in this country is a situation where every state government will recognize that they have a population of those who have worked before, and that they need to be cared for.
That's true.
1 or 2 states in the past started some social, income security, 5,000 a month. And I tell you, to a lot of old people in the rural areas, that 5,000 a month is a lot of money to them. Okay? Because they will be able to buy their medications, They can eat 1 meal or half meal in a day. But the point is that they have something that is coming regularly. And that's why the pension thing, if they are regularly paid, no matter the value of the pension, the man has hope that he will get some assistance.
At least.
The unfortunate thing in this country is that nobody thinks of the income security of the older persons. Nobody thinks of their health security. We worked on a panel. We were one, Kosropin, my organization, was part of a ministerial committee set up by Ministry of Health, that looked at insurance for the elderly.
Okay.
The committee met for over a year. We come up with our recommendations, where the money will be sourced from. We submitted our report, and since then, nothing has come out of it.
That's true.
Okay, the world is talking about universal health insurance now, where everybody is covered, and we are still here with no protection for our people. So you will find that it would be nice if government would consciously, include programs that will help older persons, have some means of livelihood.
At least they will benefit.
They will benefit. Have programs that will help older persons, have some kind of medical coverage.
Okay.
Have a discounting process negotiated with providers of services so that older persons, will be helped in one way or the other. And these are the areas that my association, the Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons, we are advocating and reaching out to government to consider There are many problems facing older persons, many problems.
All right, we are going to just go on a short break. So viewers, if you are watching us, I'm with Senator Ajako, who is telling us about how the elderly are living and ways of how we can also sustain their life in the society. So if you are watching us, this is Health 247. We are going to go on a short break, and when we return, we are going to tell you more. Stay tuned. All right, viewers, welcome back on this topic, the elderly living a quality life. So moving forward, the next question is, what role do family play in the supporting undermining the rights of the older persons? Because we know that so many people, when they are getting, so many elderly people to be precise, when they are reaching their retirement age, you just mentioned earlier on that some of their children show this negligence act. They don't even care about their parents because that culture was not imbibed in them when they were younger.
Yeah.
So right now they have grown. Now their parents have reached their retirement age. Now, how do the families support? How do they support financially? How do they support in terms of social inclusion? Maybe in case of decision making or anything that can help to make sure they are doing okay.
Well, you know, one thing you've got to know also is that there's no homogeneity amongst the older persons. I'm an older person that's going to be 77.
Wow.
Today I have worked hard and I don't need a child to look after me, any of my children to come and look after me.
Okay.
Because I am privileged.
And you prepared yourself?
I'm prepared for it.
Okay.
There are those who don't have the means at all. They didn't even have the means to give their children a good education, or they did struggle to give them a good education, and they have not built an asset base that can support them now. So you have different conditions and classes of older persons, both in the cities and in the rural areas.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is that the responsibility for older persons primarily lies with their family. In some parts of the north, they nominate someone to look after the older person. It may not necessarily be his child.
It may even be an outsider.
It may be somebody within the larger family.
Okay.
Look after this older person. In the south, every older person is on his own. That's why if you look at the homes that are springing up to support older persons, there are more in the south, because that's where abandonment takes place. Most of the work we do with older persons is more in the south than in the north.
Okay.
Because the northern culture still hallows and respects the older person and tries to care for him. So you find that the family system, the nuclear family, the extended family, ought to be able to find a way to support God's blessing to them with an older person in their family. But of course, you know, some young people want their parents to die so they can sell all that they have, take over their properties. Okay? So also some neighbors, your kindreds, some don't want, you're blocking the opportunities for them.
Some of them say, if you're from a rare family, that's why we this one die.
So you find that the primary role of family is to look after their aged. Because, like you know, the aged are revered for old age. They have experience in life. They can share. They are the custodians of our culture and our traditions. So you need the old. In most cases, they are the ones that resolve conflicts in the rural areas. All right? So we value them. We need them. And so it is important for families to begin to recognize that Their primary responsibility is to look after their old.
Okay.
And any young person who is not looking after his old person is not being responsible. So, but it is basically the role of families to look after their old. Yes, government were, because those people are Nigerians and have worked for government, we're saying, government, you cannot abandon us now that we are old. Because when we were young, we worked for you. So now that we are retired, please don't be tired in looking in our direction. But I think the primary responsibility to look after the older persons rests squarely with their families, you know, and it is their families who should join people who are looking for help for them.
At least to assist more.
To assist more. And some people are, I must say, some people are responsible looking after their parents. Even some people who are abroad, they find someone to look after their parents. The only problem is that some of those people who they take as carers take advantage also.
Yeah, because I was just coming to talk about it right now, because in Africa, most especially in Nigeria, it's very rare to hear old people's home, yeah, or see that there is an old people's home. But going abroad, like in the Western countries, there are so many old people's homes that people even go, we Africans will go over there and be caregivers to them.
Yes.
But the thing is that there is this mindset about it that, okay, your parents will look after you when you are little. Why don't you want to look after them yourself? Why do you want to take them to old people's home? Because normally when some family members drop their aged parents at the old people's home, they intend to forget about them. They feel like, okay, whatever they may require, those people over there who are looking after them will give them. So there's no need of you going there to visit. You see them, they only visit once in a while, of which alone, it's something that can even kill an aged parent on time, because you feel like, oh, my child has forgotten about me. So going further to my question, what measures can be taken to combat ageism in the society?
Well, you know, ageism is a question of discrimination,
Stereotype, yes.
But the homes and the care homes is a different matter, because if someone is not able to take care of his family, you don't have the means, you don't have the resources, and other government has set up a place so that your older person can have 2 meals at least in a day, you should buy into it without looking at the stigma that your father is in an old people's home.
Okay.
And it is something we need to encourage in this country.
Okay.
Because if you go to our rural areas, you see older persons abandoned. People of 80 years still going to the farm to look for what to eat.
But sorry to cut it short. You know, most elderly people, when you bring them to the society, like when you bring them to the town, I mean to say, you take them away from the village, you tell them, please, I don't want you to remain in the village, because if you're in the village, you love to be farming and you'll be going to farm at this age. But they will not listen to you. They'll say that is what keeps them happy.
That's true. At old age, you should not be idle. And I want to say that what you need is exercises.
Okay.
You need to be doing something. If you are strong enough to do jobs,
okay,
sweep, do this, they help your health. One of the things I've taught my mother at her age, 105, my mother wakes up every morning, drinks water, and after that she starts walking around our compound.
Oh, wow.
She could do that for 20 minutes.
Okay.
You know, that helps her joints and everything to keep functioning.
Being active.
It depends on how fragile or strong an older person is. If your older persons are strong enough to be on their own, to do things, don't discourage them. If they are not, That's why I said there's no homogeneity in aging. If they are not, take them somewhere they will be cared for.
Okay.
And that's where the homes are important. Now, when we talk about the ageism and all that and stereotyping, in the rural areas, you find that the people always attack older persons,
Yeah.
saying that they are the cause of their misfortunes.
Or even calling them witches and wizards.
That's exactly what I'm saying. If somebody is having difficulty, he says because of that old woman.
That's bad.
Okay? This is an old woman you have known all her life. She was a Christian. She was now suddenly, because your pastor, some of these new generation pastors will tell you that it is the old man in your compound that is creating problem, just to convince you to believe them, which is very sad. And that has caused a lot of elder abuse. It's caused ageism, caused discrimination and all that. But otherwise, you know, if you marry the concept of ageism and care of older persons, it's my advice that if there are homes for older persons and you can afford it, for better care of your parents, take them there.
Okay.
There are parents who have such issues, like those who have had stroke. Now, so an old person with stroke needs continuous care.
Yes.
You either go and hire someone to care, or your wife or you will even stay at home to do.
So look after
So
them.
why not take them to a home
That will care
where
for them.
people who are trained to look after them would be? One of the things our members are doing in different areas is training carers. A lot of our members have schools where they are training people, because not all those who look after the older persons know what to do.
It's true.
Many of our organizations and members were able to train people who have gone abroad to go and provide care abroad.
Wow.
You know, so those are the kind of works we are doing underground.
So how can we encourage it back in the country?
Well, we're doing that, and the Senior Citizen Center is also desiring that states get involved,
Okay.
you know, in training of caregivers,
Okay.
in issues of care for the older person.
That's good.
One of the things we advocated for a very long time is that government should dedicate one ward as a geriatric ward for older persons in every government general hospital.
That's true.
We've been on this for more than 8 years. I'm also happy that I can hear the National Senior Citizen Center buying into it and, you know, relating with states to do that. Because once you have a geriatric center that focuses on older persons, once we are able to build care centers that look after older persons, either in the communities or elsewhere, older persons would be able to receive more help.
That's impressive. All right, lastly, the question I want to ask is, what changes would you like to see in the society to better support older persons? You just mentioned now that practically you are doing underground work to train caregivers. So what other things, especially in terms of technology?
Well, the most important thing I would like going forward to see done in this country is to provide the older persons legal protection,
Okay.
so that they have defined rights and privileges that they can even sue if it's denied them.
Okay.
You can even legalize things like pension, that you must pay me my pension because it is my savings.
Is that right? Yes.
All right? So if we have a legal framework that protects the rights of older persons, then we're moving forward.
Okay.
Secondly, we need, you know, government to provide financial and economic security
Okay.
for older persons, one form or the other. For those who have worked, pay them their pensions regularly. For those who do not work for government, find an incentive.
To be paying, giving
If
them.
it is 5,000, 10,000 a month, because there are a lot of wastages in this country. There are a lot of monies that are being diverted that could have been used. You know, during the last administration, you were hearing how they were sharing billions overnight.
Yeah.
Overnight. Monies that can be planned, you know, and given in small chunks to older persons. And Nigeria will say, yes, we have a program for older persons. Right now, you can't say there's anywhere you are providing income security, you know, or economic security for older persons. But if the country can come up with a program, we can easily tell government how many older persons are in any part of Nigeria, you know, because you can use the political system. Every community has a ward, and the councillor there knows everyone who is 70 and above.
That's true.
Every year I celebrate my mother, and I invite all those who are 70 and above in my community.
That's lovely.
Every 26th day of December every year.
That's impressive.
We've been doing that since he was 95, so we've done it for 10 years.
That's lovely.
All right, so you will know the older persons, and government can target them through that, through the local governments. You know, really, if you look at national policy on aging, it provides for, you know, an organigram that gets to the rural area in looking after them, because it provides the national advisory committee, the state advisory committee, the local government advisory committee, and all of that. Even though the center has just jettisoned it and adopted it something different, which organizations like me like ours are opposed to. However, I believe that people should also be educated to become more age-friendly.
All right, thank you so much for coming on the program Health 247. I believe that my viewers have really learned something from the, most especially me. I check on my parents often, but in terms of giving the stipend I get, at least I'll be putting more. Instead of giving them little, I'll add at least half, because they deserve that. So viewers, if you're watching, this is Irene Okechukwu on the program Health 247. I will keep bringing you health topics that will make you know more about health, and not just health, everything relating to your health, always making health your priority. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so viewers, we'll see you next time and same time on this segment on Health 247. Stay blessed and bye-bye.